One. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into the Famous Dwayne's podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne. With me is Ajaya Divine. Say what up to the people.
Peace, peace.
So we may have some new guests, may not. We'll see what happens. But right now, we are having a candid conversation about hoe culture. Yes, hoe culture, which may be yo culture, depending on the tricks you turn. So I went on Twitter and I decided to look up the word hoe. Now, you know, in gardening terms, a hoe is it's a tool. It's a gardening tool. Um, I've heard people refer to men as tools sometime, like, oh yeah, that guy, he's a tool, which basically means he's a hoe. So, but what I saw was basically, I'm about to go to it right now on my page. It's an exclamation, ho, an expression of surprise, admiration, triumph, or derision. Ho, I'll show you. Or I'll show you ho. Depending on how you print it. It's used to, the second definition is used to call for attention. Ho there. Or there ho. Funny how, like, you say it backwards, it's like a totally different meaning.
Man.
And the nautical meaning is used to draw attention to something seen. Land ho. So, you mind breaking that down?
I was like, so basically what I just heard that hoe culture is attention culture. I mean, if that's what that's what the definitions was saying.
Yeah.
Is that so we're gonna broaden that out beyond like traditional when people think about how they think about women in their sexual promiscuity or whatever, but that's anybody that's out here seeking attention. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like
AKA clout chasers.
Clout chasers, that is hoe culture. You know what I mean? Like you're basically selling a part of yourself, hiding a part of yourself, or making up, to pretending to be something else for attention, for clout, for money, for a job, for hell, whatever, anything, for religion, for anything that you are basically selling a part of yourself to fit into something. It's hoe culture, or to get ahead. That's hoe culture. Like, and that's U.S. culture is hoe culture. Like,
most definitely. So then I looked up the word whore. It's a whore, noun, plural, whores, a prostitute, a woman who has many casual sexual encounters or relationships, a person who is regarded as willing to do anything to get a particular thing. He's a shameless publicity whore.
Attention. We go back to that attention. Like, and I think what we're seeing is that when we talk about women in hoe culture, we're seeing that, or we have to ask ourselves, is hoe culture so popular right now because it's a way to get attention? That, you know what I mean? Like, it's a way to get attention, and that's what a lot of women may be going for, as opposed to women who are genuinely sexually liberated. Like, that's two different things. And most people, when they say it, they lump it all in together, because there are some women who are just truly sexually liberated. And that doesn't mean that she has a lot of sexual partners or a little. It just means that she's free sexually to decide whatever the hell she wants to do with her body. Like, she's actually free. It doesn't have a certain look. But hoe culture is about attention, and that speaks to women being trained to look at themselves as something for male consumption,
as a commodity.
Yeah. So, we're trying to get that attention, trying to be the best commodity or the best buy, if you will.
That's funny.
So
Unintended.
I know, right? But yeah, so that's what I mean. I think that's what we're seeing a lot of, because a lot of women who are considered what are invested in whole culture or like support whole culture are not truly happy in themselves, and not like, so you were not sexually liberated. You know what I mean? Like you were
Right.
doing this because you were stuck in something, trying to chase clout chase, trying to get attention, trying to prove yourself, as worthy of the attention, I guess, of men, and again that includes the pygmies. What everybody has come to call like pygmies. That is a type of whole culture also, for saying things that you may not actually believe or feel for that attention and for that clout.
So, are you saying that quote unquote wholesome girls can be hoes too?
I am.
Hmm.
They can be little whores themselves.
So there's levels to this whole shit.
There's levels to this whole shit, and we're not just gonna look at the sexually promiscuous when we talk about whole culture. We
Hmm.
gotta talk about everybody who's selling something for attention.
Hmm. Yep. I mean, even I know a couple of I'm not sure if they still virgins, but I've seen a couple of virgin whores. Back when I was in high school, they would do everything but. They even would, engage in some sodomy every once in a while. But seem like, well, I'm still a virgin. I'm like, everywhere.
And we need to redefine this word, because something about that don't fit.
Yo, you got jokes today. So, there's that. I know even like some church girls, like, well, I just made out with this guy. I used to make out with a lot of people. And she basically told me, like, straight up, like, yeah, I was kind of a hoe. I mean, I wasn't having sex, but, it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of guy crazy. I'm like, hmm,
The attention.
okay. I'm going to keep zipping down my pants, but, okay.
I duly noted, but that's not gonna stop me. I mean, you gave her the attention that she wanted.
Right. It was a successful transaction. So, I'm trying to think where this all stems from. I do think that the need for attention is a basic human need. I will say that. I feel
Mhm.
like it's been inflated, you know. I feel like perhaps the way that this culture is set up is that, you know, it's put on a higher pedestal than it needs to be, that we're looking for validation outside of ourselves,
Mhm.
and we associate, validation with being getting attention. Hence why, a lot of people that are musically talented, or just any kind of talented, they want to be famous, they want that
Mhm.
attention, they want that, they were sold that dream from Disney or whoever. They saw Raven Simone, they saw Miley Cyrus, they saw all these people
Yes.
as kids that they were
And they
their age.
couldn't wait to be a whore themselves.
Hmm.
Like, wait till I can sell out sell my true expression short for some attention.
Yeah.
Because now, if I'm doing it for the attention, I can't stop or really do what I want to do because I need that attention. So that
Right.
that means I got to sing this type of song over and over again, or I got to put out these type of tweets for, like, so quote unquote, with influencers. Like, I got to put out this type of tweet in order to still garner this attention.
Right.
Just, it's a bunch of whores, dirty,
Yeah,
filthy whores.
most definitely. In fact, I actually found myself in a horror situation.
No.
Back when I mean, yeah, literally, but like this is a metaphorical kind of situation. So, um, I was, back when outside was a thing, I would frequent open mics and all that. and I would do my little rapidy raps or whatever. And then, some people will rock with it. Some people like, yeah, that's cool. And then I was like, yo, let me do an experiment. This is a song I wrote as a party track I wrote back in like 2009.
Okay.
That nigga is not me at all. Like, not even close. Nah. That was like the height of my low. So I performed this low vibrational song, and when I tell you that place went crazy, that place went crazy. They all ate it up. They didn't want to hear, the shit to make you go. No, they wanted to hear like some. They was turning up. They was twerking. Like all kinds of joints was coming up to me. Like, oh, I like this, whatever, whatever. And I was like, okay, that's a cool experiment. And then like I tried to distance myself from that because again, that's no longer who I am. In fact, I changed some of the lyrics around because they was problematic.
You had to
That
edit
might
it.
get me canceled. you know, around that time. So, I was doing something else and it was like, yo, nah, do that other joint. Come on, do the other joint. I'm just like, shit, here we go. I gotta do that joint. And you get like a 5 minute time to do your open mic thing. But
Mhm.
since my joint was so popular, like a lot of times they would let me rock to the point where like even like the DJ will like, because it was a call and response track.
All
I
right.
always love call and response.
Man, love it.
Because it's like it's an instant exchange of energy.
Mhm.
And I think, attention is basically energy. Energy goes where attention flows. And yeah, I mean I get it. I get, being on stage, feeling that energy, people coming up to you and stuff like that. Honestly, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
And I am Leo as fuck, but like still, just like I want attention when I want it, not all the time.
All the time.
So for those people that feel that they need attention all the time, maybe they're only children, maybe they're the youngest, maybe they were the oldest, and they stopped getting attention like that after their brothers and sisters were born, and they just always wanted that. I feel like it's definitely something that starts in childhood
Mhm.
because babies are the biggest whores of them all. Like attention is like little oxygen to them.
Yeah.
So
Is it? And I was like, well, for them, at least for children, they're just learning that they can affect their world.
right,
So if I do this, they'll look, and I'll do this, and then, you know what I mean? Like they're learning. As a grown ass adult, you know this now. You know what I mean? Like
right,
you know this now. What are you willing to do for that attention now?
right,
When you was a baby, when you were younger, you might say your letters or numbers, or try a new little walk across the room, or you know what I mean? Like just show something that you just
hey,
learned.
hey, show auntie that dance.
Y-
Show auntie that dance.
Yeah, you do, stuff like that. But then as an adult, it's like you literally gonna speak against things that you like truly believe, or just say things that you don't believe, just so people will give you that attention. Like now you locking yourself into something that's not even you. You know what I mean? Like it's weird.
So, there's American culture is whole culture. We can agree on that. So, they say if America has a cold, the black people got AIDS. They say pneumonia, but yeah, AIDS, nigga. And so how is African American whole
Mhm.
culture?
I mean, because whole culture became a way to feed and survive for African Americans. You know what I mean? Like, so hey, if I can entertain, or keep somebody amused by doing this, I can actually feed my family. I can live well. I can not be stressed. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I can keep this job. I can, climb the corporate ladder. I can, you know what I mean? Like, I can become an influencer if I have this message. I can, you know what I mean? Like, so
Right.
hoe culture and that whole thing became a means of survival in African American community, or for African Americans in the U.S. Like it became a way of survival. It became a hustle. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it became a real hustle that got, brought into everything. Sports, jobs, like I said, actual sexual activity. Like
Mhm.
it's a chance. It was a hustle. So it's like, whole culture is kind of a survival mechanism too, for disenfranchised people.
Right. I was actually thinking like more literally, but
Literally, oh,
but
literally,
but
literally hoes. I mean, yeah. I mean, let's. Hell, you can take that back to again the attention for the money or for the whatever or for um just not even being regarded as valued. You know what I mean?
right,
Like, so you don't have no value, so you literally like hoe culture. Like, you can always sell your body. You know what I mean? You can always sell sex. You can always sell a part of you. Because at one point we was selling your whole motherfucking ass anyway. So now
right.
you just gotta sell a part. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, I get it. So some of that monkey. I think really what it boils down to, my definition I'm coming up with right now is basically the exchange. A hoe is someone that exchanges their value for attention,
there we go.
which
Yep.
means that you value attention more than you value yourself. That's why we have people eating Tide Pods. That's why we have people licking toilets. That's why we have people doing
Doing dumb shit.
all kinds of goofy shit.
Just dumb shit out here, just, whole culture, man. And then shaming only one particular section of whole culture. You know what I mean? Like there's one particular section that gets the most shame for, selling ass for attention. You know what I mean? Like, or selling the idea that you are a hoe only for attention. You're not actually giving up no ass. Like there's just so many. It's hard to believe we really live in a world where like grown ass adults do shit like this.
Yeah.
Like, no
So
wonder the children don't stand a chance.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of, oh man. Well, before I get to that, um, there is the whole concept of slut shaming. Now,
Okay.
we discussed last week the etymology of a slut is an unkempt, untidy woman, a dirty whore, and we I mean, should you be ashamed of being dirty?
You cannot slut shame someone unless they're ashamed of what they've done.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like, you can talk shit about whoever you want to talk shit about, but you can't shame me if I don't feel any shame.
right,
Like, so while some people may have the intention of trying to make someone feel bad for their choices, they can't make you feel shame unless you feel ashamed. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
so
And perhaps to piggyback off of that, that's probably the difference between someone that's sexually liberated and just a straight up hoe. Because someone that's sexually liberated, they don't really care what you say. It's like, well, I did it because I wanted to do it. A hoe is like, well, yeah, I exchanged my value for that, and I kind of feel bad about it because I realize it's not really like I feel dead inside each time I give myself. You know, I don't know too many happy hoes, so I don't know why niggas keep trying to make these hoes happy. Because
man, they're not. Because they don't want to do it. They're not sexually liberated. You know what I mean? That's not why they're doing it. And so it takes from them. You know what I mean? Like it takes from you. And then the other part is trying to have this image to get these material things. You know what I mean? Like to for people to even almost appear to be a hoe, like to take the culture of prostitution and turn it into pop culture. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like to take it and turn it into pop culture, like that's whole culture. You know, like where women who are not doing any of this stuff, you know what I mean, are like really doing it for attention. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it, it's a crazy world, man. That's all I can keep saying. Like, I mean, it is what it is. But you can't shame someone unless they feel shame. So there is no slut. You can say all the shit you want, but I can't shame you unless you feel ashamed. You know, and we're not children. That's the thing about it, is like we're not children anymore. Like, grow some balls and stop crying because somebody said some shit about you. If you down with yourself and that's what you want to do, then you do it, and you don't complain about somebody saying some shit about you. Like, if you want to go to the buffet and eat six plates, go to the fucking buffet and eat six plates. I guess that was probably pre-corona. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, buffets
do
are
it.
done.
Yeah, right. I was like, well, do it. Like, they say, oh, now you're fat shaming, or you ate seven plates. Are you ashamed of it? You know, like, hey, you fucked six dudes in one night. Are you ashamed of it, or do you feel sexually liberated? I can't shame you unless you feel ashamed.
The room probably smelled crazy. So
It's gross.
yeah, it is. And I've had women say some wild things to me that one, I think every man, and I can speak for men because I am a man. I self-identify as a man, even though that's not my choice to be a man. Um, you know, um, you can't consider yourself a man unless you know how to turn down box. Um, because not all box is good box. Um, and a box is just it's not just the womb. It's an opportunity. It's a portal. It could be a portal to a whole world of hurt if you're not careful.
Man.
So, you have to have some sort of dick discretion. And because otherwise, I mean, what's the difference? I know people say that prostitution is the oldest profession, but I mean, niggas were still paying for it. So, I mean,
Yeah. Then you have to ask, why are men entertaining hoes? It's because for attention, so they can be looked at a certain way.
it's an
You know
exchange.
what I mean?
Some would
I
say
mean,
even an even exchange.
hey, it is. I mean, that's just. I mean, it is an even exchange. It's just about how people feel about it and frame it afterward. Like,
Yeah.
men are taught to be like, that was a conquer. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Where women are taught to look at it like you lost something, or or
Hmm.
you were used, or that's some kind of something that you gave away.
Right.
So,
So,
uh,
I mean, it's weird
ugh.
because like on one hand, it's like if it's something that you're giving away, you would tend to value it. At least that's kind
Mhm.
of how it's framed. But with men, it's like, well, I'm just getting it. I'm getting something. I'm finessing the cheeks right now, and typically from I'm just putting two and two together. I'm not a pillow talker, but
Mhm.
whenever niggas like, yo, I knocked it out the frame, or they'll just say like, yo, it's mad good. When they say it's mad good, that means it wasn't good for her. But you still want to, have that conquest, the whole, still I beat or I still beat or whatever.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, but you didn't really fulfill your end of the bargain. You know what I'm saying? There was a time back in the day where, not being able to lay pipe was something to be ashamed of as a man. And now niggas just like, well, I still fuck though, so which shows, the whole culture in that. It's like, yeah, so I'll exchange my value for the attention of my homies that I'm bragging to about you. Which is like, okay. Just
Yeah. Man, like why do they need to know about what your dick is doing?
Exactly.
Anyway, like that's not because you want that attention.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're a whore. Like, I
Exactly.
mean,
I didn't tell
uh,
nobody I lost my virginity till I kind of got not caught in the act, but I had just hopped out the joint, and he's like, "Yo, I was hitting you up. Like, what was going on?" I was just like, he's like, "Something different about you." I'm like, so yeah, we got somebody joining the chat, just connecting to the audio.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
hey, lady.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good.
Over there looking all pretty.
Thank
So
you.
we're talking about being hoes and such, and I was telling my testimony. But basically, the point that we come across is that basically the definition that we came up with is like a hoe is someone that exchanges their value for attention,
Ooh.
and it could be there's several different layers to it, and we talk about like how niggas will exchange their value for the attention of their homeboys because they want to brag about what they did, which is
Mm-hmm.
a little spicy.
Yep.
And I was just telling Ajaya, I didn't tell nobody about me losing my virginity until, it was the same girl. I just got caught in the act. And this nigga was like, my best friend was like, yo, there's a certain glow about you. Something's different. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been. He was like, word. This nigga told everybody. I'm like, yo.
Dang.
But again, I think it's a culture thing. I think it's a lot of it is just it's unconscious programming. They see other people do it, and it is literally a whole culture. So me and Ajay been talking a lot. Miss Mykia, that's how you pronounce it.
Yep, that's it.
Yes. What is your definition of a hoe, and what is I'm not gonna say what is a hoe, what being a hoe mean to you, but like, nah, I guess it's phrased funny, but you get what I'm saying.
Right. So, how would I define a hoe? I think to me, a hoe is somebody who is not in control of their desires.
Mm-hmm.
And that is gender neutral. um I think that's a big part of it. I also think that a hoe is somebody who, like y'all said, like there's a validation seeking aspect to hoism, as opposed to somebody who is genuinely comfortable and with their sexuality and liberated and choose to engage in what they do when there's no shame attached to it, when you can't be shamed for it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think that means you're really owning it. I think a
Right.
hoe is somebody who is doing the act, but they're not really owning it because they don't want to be talked about. They don't want to be called a hoe. They don't want to be perceived in a negative way, but they want to participate in all the actions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you're going to do that, do it with your whole chest and stand on it. But don't on one hand be like, oh, I can do whatever I want. Oh, but don't talk about me. But don't call me names. But don't say things about me, or don't make any assessments or predictions or have
Right.
any thoughts about why I could be this way. It's like, no, if you're going to be about that life, then be all the way in it, because can't nobody shame you for it if that's really, what you about, what you into, and what you feel comfortable and confident doing. A lot of times with hoes, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's something else going on.
so basically, they're trying to have their whole cake and eat it too.
Yes. Yep. Trying to have the whole cake.
Okay. So yeah, I agree with
It's
that. And
2020. Everything is cake now.
big facts, big facts. And yeah, that's actually what Ajay has said before too. It was like if you're liberated, if you know who you are, or even like because the thing is, sexual liberation, I think, is one part of it, but like before you become sexually liberated, you have to become self-actualized, and then I think that's just like a byproduct of your actualization. Once you know who you are, no one can tell you who you're not. And at that point, you know, it is what it is. It's like, yo, I'll show you over there with so and so. I'm like, yeah, and you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
even if you think about, you know, all of these buzz terms that you can't use, like, oh, you're misogynist, you're this, you're that. If you just say so, it just takes all the
End
power
of
from it.
conversation. Right.
Yep.
Exactly. That's the end of the discussion. Like, okay, and like, what else?
My favorite thing be like, I mean, okay, that's your perception. Okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
keep it
Right.
moving. Like that, my truth is not your truth. Your truth ain't my truth. So call it what you want. You know what I mean? Like if I'm
Exactly.
truly living in my calling, I'm all comfortable, I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm happy about it. I don't got no time to worry about what you're talking about. Or
Exactly.
yeah, like
And I think a lot of times a flip side of liberation of any kind is discipline. There is no liberation without discipline. What are you freeing yourself from if you have no discipline? And I think that people think that those are opposites, and they're not. They're supposed to go together. So if you are, liberated sexually, then that's great. But what's your flip side? What are your no's? What are your don'ts? What are your what are the morals that you do stand on? Because you have to have some, like, right? Like, it's not just an anything goes type thing. And I think that when you try to go for the liberation before you've established the discipline, like, you're just opening yourself up to all kind of stuff, because you're allowing any old thing, to interact with you. You're interacting with any old thing in this, just, it's baseless. You're doing it just because you can. But like, what about the should? Like, should you? Is it good for you? Is it healthy for you? I mean, other than the temporary feeling of it feeling good, we know that. I mean, sex don't last that long. I mean, it ain't that
yeah.
deep. Like, the physical point of it is not that, deep. Great sex is awesome, but like, I mean, let's be real. The things that you exchange, other than the feelings, are way more important and last way longer than just that temporary feeling of satisfaction. And some people be like, no, that's BS. Okay, I mean, whatever. I'm not really trying to convince nobody, but
Right.
Then the
I
question
think,
is, can you be liberated? Can you call yourself truly liberated if you don't have control over it? If you don't have
right,
that discipline, you're not liberated. You're a slave to whatever it is. It's like that's
right,
not liberation,
to the
So,
desires, right?
yep.
Like a fat ass walk by and you drooling. That ain't liberation. That is slavery. That is Pavlov's, like, that is some
Yes.
trained
That's
shit.
short,
And
but
it's the
yeah.
same way, like, for women. You know what I mean? Like, you think you see something you want, and it's fine to want things, but it's like, if you don't have a genuine thought process behind it, and you're constantly just moving off of physical feelings that you want, that is so far from liberation. That
Yeah,
ain't it.
yeah, self-control is definitely like tantamount. I mean, I remember one time I was showing my homegirl this old video of LL Cool J. He was talking about how like the BC Boys kind of like, you know, started that he kind of messed it up for him because they were on tour together and they would like do mosh pits and other, you know, goofy shit like that, and then like he would be the one to have to like catch the backlash for it. And you know, it was a good interview, you know, way different than the LL, you know, today. But you know, you know, I sent her this video. She goes, "Damn, that man's fine." I'm like, "Can you focus? Like, focus, stay on task, please."
Mm-hmm.
Shit,
Right.
like, I don't know, like, it just, and you know, I've been out there. I've definitely been a whore in, you know, more ways than one. It is what it is, but you know, at the end of the day, I own what I've done, and even though I'm not necessarily proud of it, I'm not gonna let my past transgressions define who I am.
Right.
And I think with this whole hoe culture and, you know, these proud sex workers and all this other stuff, they're letting that define who they are. And when
Mm-hmm.
you define who you are by your sexuality, you're just a hoe by default.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because that's where you place your value in your coochie. So,
Yep.
Man, that's it. Like that's what you rolling with. You know what I mean? Like that,
right,
and that is your prerogative. You know what I mean? Like that's the other thing. That's what you can roll with. But like, what else are you? You know what I mean? Like what
right,
else? Like that's such a small part of who you are. And I feel that same way about the LGBTQ community. I think I'm really pretty good at that. But I feel the same way. It's like how far are you going to get when that is your underlying how you define yourself? You know what I
right,
mean? Like you're defining yourself as by something as small as your sexuality.
right,
Like that we're so much more than that. You know what I mean? Like that's such a small part of just our experience to like make that be your crossroad. You know, that's your cross to
right,
hang yourself on. And I'm like, I'm not even trying to talk to people and let everybody know about my sexuality, whatever it is. You know what I
right,
mean? Like that's really, if we're not engaging, what does that have to do with you?
Right.
exactly.
But I don't want attention for, you know what I mean? I'm not out here
Hmm.
seeking attention based on whatever.
And I think also because sex gets so much attention, people feel like that is the like fastest way to
Mm-hmm.
become, popular or known, or just a quick come up OnlyFans bag real quick. It's
Yep.
like, because people respond to that, and the way society is just so sexual, like everything is sexual. So it's kind of hard to escape it. And when you don't think for yourself, you don't take the time out to separate yourself from society, then you think that society is you. So you think that you have to fit into what's going on around you. And it's like that ain't it. Like, break away, like release
Mm-hmm.
yourself from your because that's not liberation. That is mental, like, fucked uppery. Like, you gotta get your shit together. I'm just saying, you gotta get your shit together, because it's like, you have to know who you are first and define yourself in your own way. And if you still, after your soul searching, land on, hey, I'm a hoe and my coochie is the best part of me, then cool, fine. That's your real life truth. But I think a lot of people that get into the whole life, they do it for reasons that are not really genuine to them in the first place. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I want some money real quick. I got a fat butt. I might as well just throw up an OnlyFans. Or, oh, I might as well show myself off and see what I can get out these niggas. It's like, all right, well, I mean, we see it so much that it's almost like we're programmed to think it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like you're the weird one if you're like, hey,
Yeah.
there's more to it. And niggas like, what, bitch? Shut up. Like, all
It's
right.
always one. It's always somebody got something to say
Right.
about, like, I mean, we're gonna not act like that. Meg the Stallion and Cardi B, and I mean, it goes back to Little Kim. It goes, you know what I mean? Like that is the
Uh-huh.
same energy that they have been feeding African American. The woman,
Right.
that image that they have been feeding forever. It's like Oprah, and then you got Meg the Stallion. Like that is like your. That's what you got. Like it's
Yeah.
just like, and so we're not gonna act like that doesn't play a role. Like
Right.
that doesn't have any, like. I always bring up my sister. Like my sister has been married for like 16 years, ain't never cheated. Like does all her house, like the normal domesticated shit. Yet she is bumping Meg the Stallion and taking on the whole culture. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
from how, you know what I mean, like how you dress, or just just the whole persona of it. And why, you know what I mean? And we have to start asking ourselves, why is this idea being pushed? Why are
Right.
we accepting this kind of expression for
And
everybody?
what's the effect of it? Like, where did it come from and where is it going? people only like to think about the here and the right now. Like, oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
cool because right now it's popping and it's what we on. And it's like, all right, but first of all, nothing is a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
All this shit is by design.
Mm-hmm.
So when certain things become popular, you know, instead of just hopping on the bandwagon, it's fun. I like Cash Doll. She be talking all kind of shit. But I have a mind of my own. Like, so it's like, all right, where is this coming from? Where is this going? What's being pushed? What's behind it? Like, who's really behind this, and what is their goal? Because we just participate in because it's fun and but what are we actually contributing to? Because it's somebody's goal. It's part of somebody's plan.
Right.
So it's like, all right, where in the plan are we, and how are we contributing to our own demise? And I don't think we take the time out to think about that enough.
And you know, the kicker is that a lot of these quote unquote hoes, they're not even really engaging in that lifestyle. Like just how Future don't be doing all them drugs. Like there's hoes that ain't really, you know, busted it open like that. But they're just selling that image. And you know, it's very impressionable. They're selling that image to impressionable youth. I mean, it's basically like the same way, like, you know, I grew up in the 90s and stuff like that, and everybody had to be a dog. You had to be. You had to be. Whether you could fight or not, like, it was just, the worst thing you could be in between 1995 and 2004 was a pussy. Worst thing you could ever be. And, you know, a lot of those people that were talking about that stuff, you know, portraying that image, did not live up to that image. Hence, that's why niggas was getting robbed and all other kinds of things. And so now I think that the paradigm has switched over to the women now, and it's kind of the same thing because, you know, everything seems to happen in waves. No corona shit.
Right.
So, yeah, but yeah, I remember Little Kim had a crush on how she used to look like, and damn, it's a shame what she looks like now.
Yeah, that's that whole activity.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, selling, literally giving up a piece of yourself, you know, your image, your insecurity to keep that attention. You know what I mean? Like literally changing your face and your body to try to keep that attention.
In fact, now that I think about it, I really think that people don't think about the long-term effects or the, you know, the long-term goals of, like, you know, hoeing. Like, it's almost like the NFL because it's not for long. Like,
yeah, like what are your goals with this whole activity?
Yeah, like
because you ain't got but so many good years.
Yeah,
Man,
I heard a hoe's worst enemy is time.
Well, that would make sense.
Because you flooding the market, so your value is bound to go down. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is, it's, you know, if you're flooding the market with it and making it so easily attainable, the value of it is going to go down, whatever it is. So what is your goal? You know what I mean? Like, what is your goal? Just to pay rent this month, or is it grow?
Or are you trying to make it a lifestyle?
Yeah.
And how long you think that's gonna last? And then what's your plan after that? Because ain't nobody fucking on no 60-year-old hoes. So then what?
I'm not gonna comment. I'm not speaking of me personally, but there's somebody.
I know. I was just thinking that. I was just thinking that, like, somebody looked at that and said, "Shit."
Shoot, Tina Turner 70.
But see, the thing is, the people that like push the whole life as a brand, but don't actually live it. It sucks because, like Future, there are people that are like inspired by that look up to that, and they think it's real, and they think it's part of the reason they have the success. You know what I mean? So it's like it's very insidious. It's really actually pretty fucked up and evil, you know, to get people to get on board with something that is being represented by somebody that's not really that thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Because then they're not giving you an honest picture of what you're actually getting yourself into. They're not really telling you what to expect. They're not telling you, even if you think about Dwayne's example about like really being a thug and like, oh, you had to be hard and everybody wanted to sell drugs and everybody was doing all this and whatever. But like, you also know that they were struggling with other stuff too. It's not, it's not easy to actually kill people. It's not easy to literally sell drugs and watch you destroy people in your community. That is not an easy thing. You know what I mean? Like,
and a lot of people have PTSD from that lifestyle, and a lot of people didn't choose that lifestyle on purpose.
Right.
It's a circumstantial thing, and the way that Hoe Culture is being propped up like a first choice is fucked up. It's problematic because I don't think that most people who go into that do it as a first choice. Like the people that's really doing it, like really doing it. I gotta fuck to make my rent, or me and my baby gonna be out on the street. That is different than, fuck these niggas, get this money, live your best. Like, and when you take somebody's struggle and glamorize it and then make it a goal, that's how you fuck up a community.
Yep.
Lifetime. But I'm really thinking about there was a time, I want to say I was in junior high. We had an assembly, and when did Columbine happen again? What year was that? That was like 2001.
No, I think it was 99.
Something like that. Whatever.
I think I was still in middle school, so I think it was like the end of middle school for me, which was 99, 2000.
So, they had asked everybody, what do you guys want to be when you grow up? And some people like fireman, whatever. Some girl was like, I want to be a stripper. And then, people was laughing. And then this woman came out of nowhere. It was like, yeah, most, she was like, he's like, yeah, you think that's funny, huh? Like, most strippers, have been trafficked since they were kids and raped and beat and all kinds of stuff. You sure you want that? Yo, she shut the entire fuck up.
Man.
Right, because it's not like, it's funny when it's not real.
Exactly.
This lady shared a story on Facebook about how she used to like be living the life like when she was younger, like in high school and stuff, and how like she was like selling and stuff on the corner, got snatched up, got raped, left there. And she was like, but that's all they did. They didn't rob me or take my drugs. So like I went right back to the corner. Like I cleaned myself up, took a shower. And she was like, I went right back to the corner and like kept selling. Like no one tells you these stories. You know what I mean? Like it's just the glamorization of like how she used to, like they'll glamorize like what you can buy and what you can purchase and where you can go and who. But they don't tell you that stuff, and that you have to come through that, and that causes damage, and that causes like pain, and you have to heal. Like no one tells you about that part of it.
Yeah, I've met a couple of strippers or ex-strippers in my day, running these streets or whatever. And I know one in particular, she was talking about how her credit was like used to be like 850 and all this other stuff. She had all these things going on. But then I'm sitting there like, well, where are you now? And a lot of times they always talk about their heyday, like them old school niggas, like, yo, I could have went to the league if I ain't, rolled my ankle.
Man.
Right.
And that's a story they don't really want to, go into. But, I don't even, because I figured I may be triggering it, at the time I may have been trying to, have an ankle. But, it's something that is real. And, if you're going to tell the story, you got to tell the whole story.
Right. Tell the whole story and let people, decide from there. But hiding the negatives and then broadcasting the positives, which are like rare anyway. Like most hoes are not like making millions of dollars. You know what I mean? Like most hoes are not known or successful. They just out here hoeing.
Most
you're at your local corner, like that.
Man.
I mean, and so it's like, man, I really have an issue with the glamorization of something that is like a last resort for 99% of the people in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, talk about the trauma. Like, put the sex workers need a podcast where they talk about all the ugly shit. Like, okay, we get it. Sometimes you make $1,000 in a day. That's great. Now, what about that time you got caught up in some shit that you're in a position you never want to be in again? Tell that story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I know, damn. I gotta watch what I say now. People be listening to my shit now. I know women that at one point they would let people suck their toes for money.
Okay.
And one of them, I was like, really? The other friend, I could tell, certain people you could see the whole spirit on them. It is what it is. Like some people are
they're
about that life, and
liberated.
some people are
Yeah,
not.
like, this is what I do.
Right, they're liberated. Right,
They're
they're living in their
liberated.
whole truth.
Yeah. She got, her sugar daddy's a married man. It is what it is. But this other one, I expected more from her. And I was just like, yo, I'm not really crazy about that. And I remember one time she told me he tried to, push things further, whip his meat out and try to do whatever and try to glaze her cuticles, whatever. And I'm like, that's a crazy
story.
yeah, that's a crazy way to say it. But
Oh,
that's what he tried to do. And I'm like, what do you think was gonna happen? Like, it's sex work is kind of like a taboo thing. It's like it's taboo, and the thing is, when things are taboo, that forbidden fruit, like it it's it stirs up something insatiable in you because it's like, okay, I had this, but now I want more because I can't have it. You tell a kid they can't have something, they're gonna want it.
Yep.
Y'all both got kids, y'all know the deal.
Right. And it's like, because it's taboo, I mean, you can't put it on a resume.
Mm-hmm.
Who you gonna report to?
Mm-hmm.
If something goes left, who's like, legally, where's your defense for anything that, God forbid, nobody deserves for anything bad to happen to them. I mean, unless you did some shit first, then we can talk about it. But nobody deserves, I mean, in like sexual assault, nobody deserves to be sexually assaulted. Period. I will add that placing yourself in certain positions and around certain people can have negative effects.
Yep.
I'll just say it that way. That was pretty gentle. I'll leave it there.
I know, right? It's like you have to be responsible for the decisions you make and the places that you put yourself. And that doesn't mean that you're at fault because something happens. It just means that you did not examine all of the consequences to your actions, to your,
you did not assess the risk.
Yep.
Assess the risk and prepare for it, and prepare for the worst case scenario, so that you can walk into any space, no matter what anybody else is on, you got you.
Yep.
That's just being responsible for your own life. That's a very basic concept. To be responsible for your own life. Nobody has the right to harm you. Nobody deserves to be harmed. There are certain situations and certain people, because not all people are good people, there are certain situations where you're more likely to be harmed.
Yeah, you're putting yourself in the presence of predators, in the presence of people who lack self-control. And you're more likely putting yourself around these energies. So you're gonna have to play ball with these energies. You're inviting that into your circle, into your cipher. So you have to take responsibility for that. You know what I mean? Just like if you go out and you get drunk and you're by yourself, you have to take responsibility for putting yourself around those energies and putting yourself in those situations to come in contact with, some fucked up people that are trying to do some fucked up shit because they're predators. So they're looking for people to prey on. So if you put yourself in the position to be prey, then you got to be ready for somebody to prey on you. You know what I mean? You have to be ready for that and be able to defend that or stay away from it, or at least acknowledge that that is a risk that you're taking.
Right.
So I got a question. Do you feel that hoe culture runs parallel with rape culture?
I would say hoe culture is partly they have a symbiotic relationship. I can't say that hoe culture is, causes rape culture, or that, rape culture causes hoe culture, but I think they influence each other in this beautiful dance of fuckery to just keep you in the circle. So it's like, there are people who are taken advantage of, are victimized at one point in their life, where they might not have been in a situation to protect themselves, and it not be of their choice. You know what I mean? Like, because there are those situations. So now we have that happen, and now that is more likely to devalue that person. You know what I mean? Cause them to devalue themselves. And that is the first thing of, that is one of the things about whole culture, is a devaluing of yourself and trying to get that attention, trading that a value for attention. So you have rape culture feeding it. Then you have whole culture of you putting yourself in these situations that is feeding rape culture, because you're giving predators an opportunity. Yeah, you're giving them a lane. So like, it's this beautiful balance of circle of where they feed each other.
Yeah, I agree, because I think that, I think that's basically it. Like, I think rape culture is an entitlement issue, and I think whole culture is how can I say this? It's almost like a willful ignorance. Like, you're choosing to believe that people should just be good people, and that alone is going to keep you safe, or should at least. And it's just not that sweet. It's just not. So yeah, I think what Ajaya said really, really pretty much summed it up. I think it's definitely a symbiotic relationship, and they definitely feed off of each other, because, rape culture contributes to hoe culture, and hoe culture contributes to rape culture. Hoe culture contributes to rape culture because it's like, it gives to a predator, a hoe looks like she saying, I want it. To a predator, let me make that clear. To a predator, somebody who is very open sexually and seems to be inviting, they're going to consider themselves invited, because that's what rape culture is. Entitled. Your body is here for me to enjoy. And if you're putting your body out there, for niggas to enjoy, then the niggas who think that your body is for them to enjoy are going to try to enjoy your body.
I got two things to say in response to that. Very good point, by the way. When it comes to the assumption that everyone is good people, most purchasers of Poontang are not, reputable people. They may be bankers or whatever, or they may be losers with good jobs. For as long as I remember, we shamed niggas that paid for it. People like, oh, I'd never do that. But I've heard people say, like, you pay for silence. It's it's less strenuous than having a side chick. That you gotta. It's an ongoing payment as opposed to just one-time payment. So, but at the same time, these aren't necessarily good people. Again, if you're married and you're stepping out in a relationship with um,
A whore.
community kook.
Oh.
You know, it is what it is. Or, you know, if you are a predator and you're looking for them, like a lot of serial killers, damn near most of the ones that I've known about, they kill prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like hoeing is kind of dangerous, and by kind of I mean really.
Right.
Um, and the second thing that I wanted to bring up was shit. I think I forgot it. This is what happens when you don't write notes.
But that's like, and then people have to know that we know that there are unbalanced people out here. We know that there are predators out here. We know that this culture has created these people. You know what I mean? This section of people who think like this or have this struggle or whatever. So yes, if you're going to be a part of this culture and live it, you have to take that into consideration. You're an adult. You have to weigh all of the consequences, you know what I mean? And that goes back to saying, so most of the women who get into it, it is not their first choice. It is not by choice. It is not something that they woke up in the morning and was like, I want to be a hoe. Like, you know what I mean? I just want to sell my body because that's what's going to make me feel good inside. You know what I mean? Like, that was not the attitude that most people went into it with, you know? So you have to own what you're inviting. Like I said, again, you just have to own the energy that you are inviting in by being in the crowds where predators are going to run. You know what I mean? That's where they're going to
to be
go.
honest, that's your client base. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. And yeah, I was about to say something, but I forgot.
Well, that's great because I remember what I was going to say. So, you know, talking about how, you know, women that are inviting these predators, you know, based upon how they present themselves. And, you know, especially on Twitter and sometimes on Facebook, which is worse on Facebook because you know these people in real life. But, you know, they always talk about, well, just because I'm dressed this kind of way, that doesn't mean X, Y, and Z. But, I mean, the way that if I'm approaching a woman dressed like I just got done digging through the garbage, I'm going to treat it a different way as opposed if I came, you know, with a suit on. It's not just like gender exclusive. Like we just judge people based upon how you choose to present yourself. If you choose to present yourself in a certain way, you're an advertisement. Everybody is a brand.
Yep.
The way that you present yourself is the way that you want to sell your image of who you are. That's your avatar that you're selling. It's not really you, but it's, you know, it's a representation of who you are. So if you're representing yourself as X, Y, and Z, you know, if I'm walking around, you know, with gray sweatpants on, you know what time it is. You know what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what you're looking for. It's for the streets.
Yes, I'm for the streets.
For the streets.
And you look like the streets. So come here, girl.
Right? See, I'm for the streets. You look like the streets. It's a match made in heaven.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I really want to like get that. And we're not saying that, oh, you deserve whatever, but it's like, you know what you signed up for. Let's keep it a band.
I remember what I was going to say. It's like any other job. When you take any job, you assess the risk. Is it too far for me to travel? Am I going to be able to get to whatever? Is the pay worth it? Am I ever going to be in a position I don't want to be in? Like when you take a regular job, when you do anything in life, you assess the risk first. That's why you use your rear view before you switch lanes. They should be watching, but you don't know. You still have to watch out for you. So it's like you just got to be ready for all of it. And everybody has a choice to what they want to do with themselves and with their lives, and everybody can do whatever the fuck they want. But everybody's also responsible for themselves. And it's not,
you have to deal with those consequences of your actions.
And it is more asinine to place your well-being in the hands of motherfucking strangers who don't know you, don't give a shit about you, don't know how you got there, don't know where you're going. They do not care. But they're just supposed to be good people for fucking what? For what? Why would you even expect that? You crazy.
Yep. Because... And they haven't proved any of that. You know what I mean? They haven't said that they were looking to value you. They didn't give you that idea. That, you know what I mean? Like, you just, it's like you want it becomes a thing of entitlement. You know what I
Right,
mean?
and
Like,
that right,
now you feel entitled to some protection that you have to give
that
yourself.
right, that
Like,
you can't even do that for you, but you're expecting everybody else around you to. Unrealistic. You're goofy.
Very goofy. Le goof.
They
So,
goof.
like, oh man, I like I said, I don't think I know any hoe that's happy. You know, the ROI on selling that monkey ain't really what it's cracked up to be, especially if you ain't a dime. Like,
Like,
sorry to say, like, I remember one time. Actually, I can't even tell that story. Actually, no, I think I can. No, I can't.
no, I can't. I knew that was coming.
It's wild. It's too wild.
But
But I mean, here's the thing. So you want the whole fame because it comes with that attention that we talked about. You want that feeling, you want that validation, but you don't want to accept the consequences and the other repercussions for that. You know what I mean? Like you said, you have to assess the whole job. Like, do you want to be a construction worker and build on 3, 4, 5, 6-story buildings and you might fall off and die? Yes. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that
Right.
happens.
Exactly.
So is it worth it? And it's like, yeah, you want to engage in this, but a real chance is that you are going to be taken advantage of. Someone's going to try to victimize you. You're going to be around people who are going to try to do that. Is it worth it?
Right.
And it's not anybody else's job to protect you when you put yourself in these situations. Would it be, hopefully, I honestly hope that there's someone there to protect you, but I'm saying that that is not anyone else's job to protect you when you
Because
put
for real,
yourself in these big situations.
if you want it to be somebody's job, then as a sex worker, you need to pay for security to travel with you, then it is somebody's job.
And then you're being responsible.
Right.
You're taking the responsibility for that part of the job.
Exactly.
And by security, do you mean your pimp, or how does that work here?
A pimp, a brother, somebody with you that is aware of what you're doing and is willing to protect you if shit go left. It can be anybody.
Yep, you can call it what you want.
Right. It doesn't have to be a man. It could be another girl that packed that thing. Okay. You know what I mean? So either way, however you want to do it, you need to know what you're doing and you need to be prepared. You can't just put the onus on everybody else just because you decided you wanted to do whatever you wanted to do and now everybody else got to look out for you. No, that's not how it works.
And that's silly. And that's putting yourself in danger. That's not taking your value seriously. You know what I mean? That's just being loose with yourself.
Right.
Like,
that's you valuing yourself as much as a stranger would, because that's who you're giving all the power to. Hey, can I trust you not to harm me?
No.
Right.
And like, I'm even thinking about, like, I'm pretty sure, I mean, again, this is the last resort here. Some men would probably think, probably teenagers or something like that, the whole concept of prostitution, like, man, I'd love to do that. Until, you got that customer that you really wasn't trying to rock with. Like, I'm pretty sure it's not an enjoyable experience. You're meeting strangers. They may have weird smells. They may, not be good at what they do, which is why they're paying for it. It could be a whole bunch of things. And no matter what, still you fuck. So, just, it's really not something that should be glamorized at all. I mean, there's only so much I can say as a man, but I mean, for you whole ass niggas out there, like, it's not something to be proud of.
Right.
Not having discipline, not having whatever. Like, I really look at it as like
it's a liability. You're
a
liability.
Yes, big facts. That's exactly what it is. So I think we've beat this whole death. Um, final points.
It is up to you to be responsible for the actions you choose to take. There is a difference between truly being liberated and just doing things for attention. And when you're liberated, it doesn't matter what, no one can shame you because you don't feel shame. You're making these decisions freely and because you want to. So there is no shame. So you know what I mean? Like, so, that's sexual liberation. Whole culture, like we said, is about, exchanging value for that attention. And if you're gonna do it, you need to be responsible for the whole picture. Like you can't pick and choose what you want to be responsible for. So do what you do, but be an adult about it and be responsible and think about the whole picture and all of the consequences and all of the things that play out, because we know there are predators among us. We know that this culture creates predators. We know that people are unstable and unhappy and have drug addictions and sex addictions and all kinds of things. Like these are these are what we consider our normal everyday people. So, like, be real with yourself about what it is that you're really exposing yourself to and the energy that you're inviting in by your choices.
Yep. And I'll say for my final point, Hoe Culture, I got a whole blog on it. Etherealkid.com, I believe. So if you want to check that out, shameless plug. And really, for me, the major thing is discipline and just being aware of the consequences of your actions. There are so many other effects of sex than like pregnancy and STDs. Like those are the physical ones that you can see and feel. There's a whole lot of other stuff that happens. So just like whether you believe it or not, the discipline is going to take you a lot further when that is the foundation for your liberation. Mm-hmm. So establish the discipline first and then liberate yourself and do your thing. But definitely the maintaining some type of discipline and some type of core values for yourself. Have a list of, things that you definitely don't do, things that you are definitely for. Just know you first before you share yourself with everybody else.
Core values over whore values. So, yeah, I mean, basically, like I said, we broke down the etymology of like hoe and everything like that, and it basically is on one end it's an exclamation of it's you do something to get attention. So like what pirates used to say, which pirates is a whole other thing, but we're not gonna go there right now. But they used to say like land hoe, like they're drawing attention. No, land hoe. So a hoe, when you say hoe, that brings attention. Again, that's what they do for attention. Also, a hoe is a tool, something that gets used in the garden. You can put two and two together. I don't have dumb listeners. Listen. So, is these things, and being a hoe is not gender exclusive, to either or. I think actually it's kind of worse when men are hoes. But
I was gonna say that too. I agree. I think it's worse when men are hoes.
Yeah, because it's like, damn. So like, how are you
But
supposed to be?
what are you standing on, right? Yeah, that's a whole other thing for me.
Yeah, so it's just about valuing yourself. Like, value yourself. Stop exchanging your value for attention, because you are worth more than that. And honestly, if you just display your value as opposed to giving it away, the attention will come, and a healthy amount of attention. Because I think that sometimes we have this insatiable lust for attention, and it's really overrated. One, is definitely overrated, and two, it's like overrated. It can be toxic. Like, a lot of people, back in high school, like, I just want to be popular. But popular people don't want to be popular. It's like, yo, like everybody's in my business, and sometimes you want what you never had. And those people that always wanted that end up, becoming hoes. So
for the attention, so they can get it. Yeah.
exactly. So I just want people to value themselves. If you want to be sexually liberated, that's fine, but be self-actualized first. If people want to find y'all, where can they find you?
I'm
I
at.
am. Oh,
Go ahead, Mykia.
okay. I'm on Twitter, Ethereal Kia. Oh, I'm private though. Don't find me.
Oh shit.
My bad.
She said, "Don't find me. Never mind. I'm private."
I don't want the smoke. I don't want the popularity.
Man,
Keep it.
that's funny. You got your website though.
I do. Oh yeah, I have mayasnaturals.com. Follow that. That's definitely public. Okay, you make them smell good.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna promote for now.
I
Yeah,
had a
Maya
stamp
Naturals.
that her shit is official.
I know, right? Which one did you have?
That was a sample, the men joint. My girl
Oh
loves that
yeah.
shit.
Yep. Man, we putting them scents together, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find me at ajayadivine.com. I'm Ajaya Divine on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And my podcast, Infinite Beings Unite. I was about to say the name of the organization. Okay, leave me alone. I'm tired. I didn't sleep last night. I'm taking responsibility for my life and working on paperwork and suits and whatnot. But yes, and then my podcast is on Anchor and Spotify. Bada boom. That's it.
You can find me where you found me at. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and cancel me. Thank y'all ladies for pulling up. I really appreciate the dialogue.
Hey,
All right.
you appreciate it.